What is going on, everybody? We are here and we are live outside of Bank of America Stadium as we get you ready for a matchup today between the Carolina Panthers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. What is going on, Charlotte Vibe fam? I'm Andre Cassidy, the man of the people, Chris Jenkins, rolling on in here as we are getting ready here to prepare for a pretty significant matchup today. And we will have a special guest coming on here shortly in a not too distant future. How you doing today, Chris? As he tries to get his gloves on, it is pretty cold right now.
Ask if they can hear us. Sorry.
Oh, can y'all hear us all right, by the way? We're still trying to get everything figured out here, but if we're good, then yeah, we're ready to go here. But,
so check. So I want to make sure that my mic is working as well. So we were a little scampered and getting online today, so before we get into it too much, I want to make sure that all the technical stuff that makes this possible is working correct. Good audio. All right, so that's important that we have good audio because I thought we were not going to have good audio.
Yeah.
And you can keep talking a little bit because I'm still getting a few things to get. They can hear.
They can hear.
They can
That's
hear.
Good. That's step one in the process.
Step
right?
one is complete.
But yeah, we are here today. This is a pretty significant matchup, like I said here. Really a unique opportunity today for Carolina as potentially by the end of the day, Chris, we could be first in the NFC South with a Carolina win today.
Yes.
And then a Tampa Bay loss to Cincinnati. That could very well happen today. But we got to take care of our business first before anything else.
Yeah, and before we get too much into the game talk.
Yeah.
They're talking about the camera's off-center.
Yeah.
And yes, the camera is off-center because
That
we
is
will
on
be
purpose.
joined by Rashad. That is right, Rashad.
Yeah, Rashad.
By Panther Nation Podcast. And also a few disclaimers before we get too much into it is that it's cold. We don't have a staff to keep us warm. My nose may be running during this show, all right? So if it does happen to happen, don't make too much fun of me with the nose running, all right? Now, Andre has his hat on, which I don't have. But nevertheless, we're about to go ahead and get into it. Yes, Rashad is coming. And let's get our notes together so we can get started with the game.
Yeah. And leave your comments below, too. I'll do that for you, Chris.
Yes.
Leave your comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us here on the Charlotte Vibe. We're getting you ready today for, again, a pretty big matchup. Everybody behind us is looking to protect the bank today, a phrase that's been said all week. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and you leave your comments for who you think is going to win today's game. Hopefully, it ends with a pretty favorable victory for us today.
Hey, and now I know why. You ever see that they always have earpieces on when they're doing videos on live TV? Do you know why? Because sometimes you can't hear your coworker.
Right.
And if you have the earpieces, then I can clearly hear what Andre is saying, but we're going to work through it.
And it typically happens at around this time, like 11:10. That's when the band likes to roll around and make their appearance on today's show. But hey, we're here and we're ready to go for today's matchup.
Hey, and no running over me today.
I'll try not to, man. I'm trying.
He's excited.
I told him earlier today I'm trying to contain my excitement, but sometimes it's a little hard to do, you know.
It's good.
Right.
All right, you ready to get on the script?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, I'll let you. First thing we're going to talk about are the transactions that have taken place for this Carolina Panthers team. You got that list for us,
Yeah,
right?
so unfortunately for Brandon Smith, rookie linebacker out of Penn State, right?
Yep, out of Penn State.
He has been placed on IR, which means he's going to be out for at least the next 4 weeks, which is really unfortunate for him and for the team because, for one, he's a really good special teams player.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing that they'll miss him for. And he's a rookie, and he was looking to get more opportunities as the season started to wind down, and this was the time for him to really make a name for himself, but unfortunately he won't have that opportunity. So really a guy that will be missed on both sides for special teams and for the defense, because really over the past couple of weeks he's been getting more opportunities and making his name, but unfortunately he won't be out there for at least the next 4 weeks or so.
Yeah, and he was, I just had a brain fart that I just completely forgot. So we'll just continue, and that may happen again today, folks, because it's cold out. And we're getting, I'm wishing that I had the beanie. I don't have the beanie, but it's all right.
And fellas, he's still recovering from Seattle. He sounds better now, but he's still a little jet lagged, so give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt.
I'm recovered, man. I'm recovered. I'm about 95% recovered. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I forgot to thank everybody for their patience and their gratitude this week for me not doing all the videos that I normally do during the week. So we had to abbreviate the coverage a little bit, but I wanted to make sure that above all that I was 100% for today.
Yes.
And I feel really good, so we're going to be all right. Let's go ahead and talk about this matchup that we have today. So the Carolina Panthers coming to this game 5-8, having won 3 out of their last 4 games with coach. I said coach, but he's interim head coach, Steve Wilkes at the helm. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, they have the same record. Pittsburgh Steelers are 5-8 today, and they are coming. Well, I didn't say this, but the Seattle Seahawks are who we beat to go to 5-8. Yep. Pretty good victory out there in Seattle that I had the pleasure of witnessing. But the Pittsburgh Steelers are 5-8. They are 5-8 after falling to the Baltimore Ravens last week. All right, so that has both of those teams at 5-8. That game last week was 16-14, in which they fell to the Baltimore Ravens. These two teams, you can come on in, man.
Yeah, don't be shy.
The camera's already positioned for you to be in. Just stand right on there, and you'll see that you're in the shot. But the Steelers lost to the Ravens last week, 16-14, to fall to 5-8. Now, I'm saying these two teams have played a lot, but mostly in the preseason, right? Yep. Almost every single year they've played in the preseason, but this is only their this will be their 7th matchup in the regular season, believe it or not. And the Carolina Panthers won that first matchup, whenever that was. I don't know the numbers on that. But the Steelers have won the last 6.
Yeah, 96.
96 is when they had
96 was the last time we beat the Steelers.
Okay. And, so they've won the last 6. And this will be a good opportunity for us to change that and continue to get in the playoff position. And then I'm going to let you, Andre, go ahead and break down the interesting facts that we have for today's game. And by the way,
missed me for that last week. I know I watched a little bit of that.
I did miss you, man.
They call me Fact Man for a reason, right?
Yes. Go ahead and introduce our co-host.
Yeah,
a lot of people know. He stepped in.
Do not know.
Shouldn't be too many of them.
I mean, it shouldn't be. He's a pretty well-known individual.
And you can actually step to the left, just a smidgen. There you go. We got some space.
We got some room today.
Well,
let's welcome in Rashad from Panther Nation Podcast.
What's up, guys? What's up?
A really valuable member of our team here, a regular now as we wind it down. So.
And he too has a beanie on.
Yes, it's cold. I was just in Canada last week for work, so
were you?
I kind of over-prepared a little bit. Yeah, it's cold. I was watching that Bills game last night. Like I was just up there. It's not friendly.
It's
cold.
Yeah.
It's cold.
Joke
up
there.
I need the beanie.
Yeah.
And I got a low haircut too.
Yeah.
It's not really helping. At least you have long hair underneath.
I do.
That.
The long hair does help.
And it doesn't help the ears too, man.
It doesn't help.
Typically what goes
Once
first.
the ears and the hands go, it's over. I want to go home at that point.
But in any event, we are prepared as much as we can be weather-wise.
Yeah.
Man, let's talk about some facts here.
No, it's not. And a quick note before we get off task too much.
Yeah.
I was in Seattle last week, near Canada.
Okay, close.
And I didn't have a hat. And I said, man, let me go run and get a hat, just anywhere.
Right.
I didn't think I should have to run anywhere. I went to Target. Target had absolutely 0 winter clothes in there. They had like a few pieces for like kids, like baby kids. They had no winter coats, no hats in Seattle at Target.
Wow.
And so I still don't have a hat today because I forgot on the way here. But I'm sorry. Go ahead and bust off the interesting facts.
So let's get to it. Since week 7 of the year, Carolina is ranked 4th in the league with 237 rushing attempts, and 5th in the league with 1,082 yards up to this point.
Yeah, I think I gave you the wrong stuff.
Did you really?
It doesn't seem right.
But it still fits the narrative.
Is it right?
Yeah, I think it's. I don't know.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're right.
I was gonna say if it's not right, it's on pretty close to it. We're doing some damage on the ground right now, and I love it.
Okay.
I mean, it fits the narrative because that's what we've been doing ever since Steve Wilkes has taken over, is ground and pound, keep pounding and running the football. The Panthers have now rushed for 200-plus rushing yards twice in the past 4 weeks, 232 yards in Week 10 against Atlanta, and then for the first time since 2018, they've hit that number multiple times this season. So again, that's a pretty significant stat and a pretty key blueprint for how Carolina looks to win today's game. Eddie Pinheiro, a guy who received a lot of heat after the Atlanta game.
Heat. It's funny that you say that word, as cold as it is.
Yeah. Taking some warm thoughts right now.
Warm thoughts.
He is right now with the way he's been playing ever since that Atlanta game. Currently, he's second in the NFL for field goal percentage at 92.6, and he's only behind Jason Myers for first on that list. So he's really been one of those guys that C. Wilkes has been talking about. Really, after the performance that he had against Atlanta, just standing behind him and, giving them that confidence and giving them that mode of, encouragement, because that's what he needed. And he's been really doing his job ever since that game. And hopefully that continues today as well. J.C. Horn, a guy who's really been playing well this season, has only allowed a 35.8 passer rating when targeted. And that is the lowest among any quarterbacks in the NFL. So put some respect on J.C. Horn's name. You are in the national media. I know you guys talk about Sauce Gardner a lot, but put J.C. Horn in that list as well, because I think he's been doing pretty good, and the numbers, they show it.
The numbers don't lie?
They do not lie.
Yeah, he almost had 2 picks last week.
He did.
It's pretty good. All right. Any tips for keeping warm?
No, I don't. I'm not the guy to ask for warm tips, man. I just layer up, put some layers on, handy dandy hand warmers right here.
You got some hand warmers?
I do have a
okay. We got.
I had to order one. I had one on the way. I saw yours last time, and I was like, I had one on the way at that time. Funny enough, we got nearly the same one, but yeah.
Yeah, it helps. It helps.
Yeah, listen, keep your ears warm, keep your hands warm, because once they go, it's going to be a long day. So.
Hey, are you monitoring? You're supposed to keep monitoring the comments here to make sure. This guy, he's
right
off
now,
1
man.
week. Off 1 week. And he just forgets it all, the whole equipment set up that you see here that they don't see.
Yeah.
I'm over there getting it all set up.
Right.
And Andre's over here got his computer all set up. I'm like, you're supposed to be, what about all this other stuff? And now you ready?
Hiatus, man. What can I say? I think the weather's what's getting to me too.
All right.
My mind's frozen right now.
That's allowed to happen. So, hey, I'm going to talk about the top 10 things that are happening for this team, offensively and defensively.
Yeah.
And you know that we finally got a top 10 ranking on the offensive side.
Really?
We have not had one all year. And I give credit to Steve Wilkes and the way he's changed the way that he coaches his team and their identity of playing it safe and running the ball. Yeah. And also that offensive lineman that, the guy, I forget the name of that package that they call when all the 8 linemen come out there.
Arby's?
The Arby's.
Something to do with Arby's,
yeah.
right?
We
got the
meats.
Yeah, man. I love Cade Mays in there running fullback sometime. It's great. It's great, man. Run the dang ball.
Run the dang. You edited that,
Run
didn't
the
you?
dang ball.
Hey, it's a family show, right? We got to keep it PG-13.
But that offensive line has allowed us to have a 10th ranking in sacks allowed, meaning we're keeping the quarterback safe. Did I write down the number of sacks? We've allowed 28 through this point, good for tied for 10th. And then on the defensive side, we still don't have any top 10 defensive rankings. We're lacking there, but we still moved up a little bit, and the points allowed per game at 13.
Okay.
So defense is still improving, but not quite where we were in previous years. But that run game, again, has been the difference maker for us. Notable connections for today. You got them, Andre?
Yeah, let me pull it up real quick.
You got gloves that even touch the screen, huh?
Yeah, man.
All right.
At least I got that part of it figured out.
He's all taken care of today, except for the show. I'm giving him a hard time.
But it's all in good fun, though, folks. This is what it's all about. Well, really, let's take a look here. Larry Okunjobi and Alex Highsmith are on the Steelers roster. Or are they on the Steelers roster? They should be, right?
Yes. Yes. I got up
UNCC.
early this morning getting this together, man. That's right.
You're representing UNCC, man. Look at that.
How do you say it? Do you know how to say it?
What?
Is it UNCC? Is it Charlotte? Is it University?
Well, we don't call it the College of Charlotte like that.
This HBCU guy over there is like, I don't care.
Shout out to Central yesterday winning the celebration.
You gonna do Deion like that?
I mean,
You're not a fan of Deion?
I like
Deion lost, man.
I like Deion. I was cheering for him, and I can't. It's hard for me to cheer for the other team, the team that won. Since I'm an Aggie,
okay,
that's our rival that won. So congratulations to them. So it is what it is.
All right. Well, I went to UNC Charlotte, so I'm one of the older people that don't want to offend the younger generation of how to say it. It was UNCC when I was going there. I won't even say how many decades ago, but it was a while ago.
A while ago.
It was a while
ago.
That
way. I'll say that.
They didn't have the football program when I was there. They didn't even have the land built where it is right now. But I will give the shout out to UNCC.
Seems like a long time ago.
For it was a long time ago. For the two players from their football program that is a member of the 53-man roster on the Pittsburgh Steelers, even though we don't have any notable connections. Things to watch today. Let's talk about, actually I'm going to go off script because we've got about 30 minutes left and I'm cold.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this protect.
Not that bad, man.
Man, once my hands get cold and feet they don't warm back up, so they're already red.
About you being on Myrtle Beach right now, that's what I'm doing.
Myrtle Beach? Man, I never go to Myrtle Beach. But how about Tampa? Clearwater.
Oh, there we go, Tampa Bay.
Mexico beaches.
Bay,
you ever go to Myrtle Beach?
Yeah, I've been a couple times in my lifetime. That's not one of my top two. It's not where I would have said, yeah.
Come on, Andre.
You got to go to the good parts, man. You can't go to dirty Myrtle. You got to go to North Myrtle, man.
I'm good. I'll pass.
Oh, all right. You want to say
Hey, listen. So for today, that's funny. All right, for today, let's hope that Santa Claus comes early.
Yeah.
He's wearing number 10, right? He's passing out a lot of presents to the other team.
Yeah.
Let's hope that Trubisky, who is starting for the Steelers today, is handing out presents to the Panthers. Hasn't done too well. I think he threw, 3 interceptions against the Ravens last week. So we're hoping that
Rashad is the man.
He continues that. In the giving mood.
Yeah.
Hopefully he continues to turn the ball over. And an opportunistic secondary. We're just talking about J.C. Horn, right? C.J. Henderson. They continue their good ways, right? They're playing good football right now. The secondary's playing well. I don't think the Steelers are as good of their defense isn't as good as we want to give them credit for. Historically they're a really physical team. I don't quite think they're that good. I think they're just middle of the road pack. They got Watt and they got some guys that obviously are great players. But I don't think they're that great.
Well, I think a lot of, when you talk about their defense, a lot of it is based off the historical records that they've had, from that side of the view or that side of the field. But TJ Watt, that's a guy that we all need to pay attention to.
Sure.
He's been a terrorizer for Carolina, of course, back when they played in 2018.
We don't have to talk about that.
I didn't even talk about it, but that's a very dark day in Panthers history right there that he was responsible for it. So we can't let that happen again today.
Can you tell me who was on the offensive line during that period of time?
Do I
exactly. No, we don't. Let's continue to talk about the offensive line now because they're much better.
Yeah.
So I don't expect TJ Watt to go off like he did last time.
What about protecting the bank? That's what I want to start with. And I appreciate you being here to help hold us through that moment where him and I just completely fell apart on live TV. But Steve Wilkes talked about protecting the bank, and it has become a thing this week on social media, and him making that cry for fans to come out. The crowd, we like to talk about the crowd.
Yes.
And what have you seen so far in your walk-up and coming to the stadium today for the Steelers?
It's interesting you mentioned that because that walk-up is very important. I walked from Lot 99, which is a little ways back, and you kind of get to see what's going on. And I can tell you, this has a big game feel, and I know there's a lot of Steelers fans. We know that.
Right.
They historically come, and that's why the whole protect the bank thing is a thing, right? But the parking lots are full, right?
Sure
the
are.
parking lots are full right now. There's a lot of blue out here too. Let's not get it twisted.
So how much of the parking lots are Pittsburgh Steelers?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think that really matters, honestly. I really don't. I honestly don't, because at the end of the day, I think the protected bank is a thing, and it should be a thing. Look, listen, they got a historic. They live in the past, right? They've got all these rings, right? When is the last time they got one? Okay, they've been living in the past. And they bring us history, great history, but it's about today, right? This is a big game for the Carolina Panthers. We're in position. This is meaningful football in December. When is the last time we could say that?
2018.
It's meaningful football in December, right? And so I feel like I'm excited. I'm really excited to watch this game. I'm cautiously optimistic because I don't know what this team is. It's hard to really get amped up because I don't know what's going to happen every week, right? Last week was great. If we can continue that, then I'll be forever optimistic. But I need to see it week after week after week. But it's a big game feel, and I think Panthers fans are going to show up. I think, Wilks and the team have done their job. They've protected the bank. Wilks is undefeated at home. They have done their job. So as Panther fans, we have to show up and be loud. If there's a lot of Steelers fans, so be it. But we have to just be loud.
I can't imagine what his pregame speech would be like today with protecting the bank. But in terms of the amount of Steelers fans that are here today, I think it's going to be a pretty good amount of Steelers fans here. And I think a lot of it isn't so much an indication that the team isn't winning right now. I think a lot of those tickets were already sold a while ago when we were starting to stink it up pretty bad and Matt Rule's coach. But when we drive in, we come down College Street. And one thing I can say about the Steelers fans, they're here early. And they're here in line, they're here at the restaurants. There's still a lot of Steeler fans here today. But I think to Rashad's point that today I think that will be a little different, that we will still see a lot of Steeler fans, a lot of terrible towels in the stadium, but I think that you're going to see a lot of Panther fans cheering as loud as ever
and going to waving those towels. There'll be nothing to wave them for. They'll be right there in their seat because we're going to be kicking that tail, okay? That's what we're going to do today.
Yeah, and then I skipped over the predictions. Do you want to give a prediction on today?
Man, I really thought about it, but I think it's going to be a low-scoring game.
Okay.
I think it's going to be two tough physical teams, defensive football. So I'm going to probably go, I'll say 20 to 10 Panthers.
20 to 10?
20-10 Panthers.
Let me go ahead and get this on the screen here. I always like to show this picking it. And for the first time, the Steelers are not, or I should say our opponent is not overwhelmingly the favorite. We got the Carolina Panthers, which seem to be the favorite. Only NFL.com, Sporting News, USA Today is split. Okay. But most people are picking the Carolina Panthers to win today. Andre, any comments on victory today or the outcome of the game today?
We've been the underdog the past couple of weeks. I mean, and you see it right there in the national media, but I think they're starting to pick up on what a good story this team has been to be able to turn it around after such a poor start. But Steve Wilks has said, do not focus on the outside noise. I think he's done a really good job of telling the guys, hey, they didn't believe in us back then, and they're starting to believe in us now. But that does not mean we become complacent. We still have to have that underdog mentality. That's part of the reason why he said we need our supporters to be out there to protect the bank today.
Yeah.
Because there's a revitalized energy among the fan base. There's hope. There's hope. All sorts of positive vibes, Charlotte vibes.
I like it. I like it.
Right now.
Yes, nice coming back from Myrtle Beach.
If you're watching us in Myrtle Beach, man, we love you down there.
There's a couple viewers.
Okay, no hate.
Love you down there.
There's no hate for Myrtle Beach. But when you think of like vacation spots to go to, it's not the first one that comes to mind. It's a convenient one, though.
I don't know why, but it did. But
it's like the people that call that beach, that new park up in like Lake Norman area. I forget that park that they built. They put a little sand out there on the Lake Norman.
I've been out there.
And they call it the beach. It's not.
And the rocks, too. It's not just sand, it's rocks, too. So, like, when you're walking around, it's just painful. But nevertheless, back to what I was saying, though, there's that energy in you. And I think, I'm not going to give my prediction because,
No prediction?
Not today. I want to see before I put my mouth to what is happening out there. Want to be cautiously optimistic like Rashad.
You can do that.
Said it. But I expect there to be a lot of fire and energy out there in the stadium today. We're going to see more of the same, running the football, controlling the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, both of these teams play pretty similar in terms of their attack and keys to victory.
And forcing some turnovers. We need to have some holiday giving. It is the holidays, and we're in the giving spirit, but we need Pittsburgh and Mitch Trubisky to reciprocate those giving spirits that we're feeling right now. So it will be an interesting game, and it's a big game because, like we said earlier, if Carolina wins and you factor that in with the Tampa Bay loss, we could be going to bed tonight with Carolina first place in the NFC South.
Let's go ahead and talk about those playoff possibilities. You think we're going to make it? How you feel about it?
I feel good.
You feel good?
The good thing about it is we control our own destiny. So, I mean, we have to win. We have 4 games to win. Doesn't matter what everybody else does. Doesn't matter. We can talk about Tampa week to week. We can talk about the Falcons week to week with their starting Ritter. Doesn't matter. None of that really matters. You take care of what you can take care of. You win every game, and you're in the playoffs. And you look, again, I did this, I think, a couple of weeks ago on our show. you look at the remaining games that we have.
We got a weak schedule.
A weak schedule. Not only that, right? The teams that we play are not good against the run.
Yeah.
They're not. This is going to be the toughest game, and they're ranked like 15.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody else is in the 20s against the run.
And recently, they're not as good as that 15th
Exactly.
rate. They had over 200 yards. I think they allowed last week.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the current NFC South rankings. Tampa Bay's up top, 6-7. They play Cincinnati later on today. I think that's a 4:00 game.
Yep.
Panthers sitting here at second at 5-8. And then you got the Falcons and the Saints, who actually play each other today. They're both at, well, respectively, Atlanta's 5-8. New Orleans is 4-9. So that's currently the NFC South playoff picture. As Rashad mentioned, we really control our own destiny. I know in the ride over, we talked about the possibilities of saying, okay, this team going undefeated is still a tough task in the NFL. So what if it doesn't happen? We still have that matchup against Tampa Bay that'll be coming up, which will continue to help us in that scenario in terms of making that playoff spot and then having a home game here in Carolina. Let's talk about one other thing. We should have the inactive list that are out.
Check it out here.
That if you could pull that up. And then after that, we have a lot of people that are tuning in, a lot that also supporting Panther Nation podcast. So I want to spend the next part of the show just going over some of the questions and comments that we get. We go live for that reason, interact with the fans out there and see what you guys have to say. And between this triple-headed monster up here, we should be able to get you some pretty good feedback in terms of any questions that you may have.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the inactives are out.
All right, we're going to let you handle that.
We have it out now. So DJ Moore, he was questionable all week with that knee injury. He will be ready to go for today's game, so that's a pretty big deal right there.
Is that big news? Is that really big news that DJ Moore, that didn't have any catches last week, is active?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think it is.
You got to have him on the field.
As a decoy?
He's a playmaker.
He can be.
He may not have made plays last week, but that's the great thing about the win. This is what I tried to tell you guys about Christian McCaffrey.
That shows you how deep our team is.
It shows that we can win without going through one player. And I love DJ Moore. Love him. And shout out to Wilkes for calling everybody out, because last time we were on this show, we kind of
called out some people.
Right? We called out some people.
Yeah.
Call to action.
Yeah,
right?
call to action, and they showed up. But at the same time, consistency would be great from DJ. But at the end of the day, it's about W's. And I think he needs to be on the field. I think he could have a great game today. I don't think the Steelers secondary is that great. So you're
looking forward to that bubble screen. We can now run the bubble screen to Chenault and DJ Moore. He will have 2 rushes today for that, and he will have more rushes than catches. I mean, I'm glad for his sake that he is healthy, that he's back. But I don't think it's a big deal, because I feel like we so much run through the run game that it's, if he wasn't out there, we'd still have Chenault, Smith, and Marshall as our guys, and we're not going to be asking Darnold to throw the ball far. I didn't like last week how they run DJ as a decoy, just run this guy like his routes were like 15, 20 yards down the field before he's looking back. And, I mean, props to him for still I'm going to shut up. Go ahead and finish the inactive list.
So we only have 3, because we only have a 51-man roster, of course, with Brandon Smith being on injured reserve and then Davion Nixon.
So there's room to sign me? I get a little contract? I can do some special teams. Shi Smith always bobbles the ball. I can do that for a minute.
There is that
I like him,
possibility.
but he does.
So Justin Burris, safety Justin Burris, offensive lineman Lornell Coleman, and then defensive end Amari Barno are your 3 inactives for the Panthers today. So that means safety Xavier Woods is going to be active.
Thank goodness.
The Panthers today.
We need Xavier Woods back.
We missed him last week.
Yeah, we miss him.
There was a lot of busted coverages.
Yeah, we miss him.
And he helps our back line, so it's good that we have him back out there.
Allows Chin to do his natural thing instead of being out there playing free safety. I love Chin, but he had a rough go last week.
Right.
I've also mentioned I'm jealous of your Ray-Ban glasses.
You come on, get it together.
I don't have nothing, and you guys have it all.
Prepared.
All right, so
The lights are bright.
They are bright. I'm gonna run through this lineup, through these questions, and let you guys talk about some of the things that you may wish to as we go through them, right? Because I haven't done a good job. Panther Pickle says we're ready for the Steelers. What's going on? Underground West. Jeremy Chin is due to have a big game today. Panthers 24, Steelers 17.
Okay, I like that prediction.
Chen Tizzy. Oh, not where I thought you was going. Okay. So we're going to run through. You guys enjoyed that stranger that we just had by here? We had stranger.
I saw the group.
He just like stood there and kind of
I saw the group.
around.
You saw it?
Yeah, I saw the group when I walked up.
It wasn't Dave Temper like it was last week.
Panther Pickle, I want to see Sam put up 300 passing yards just to shut up the haters.
No, we don't need that. We don't need that.
Play
No.
within the system, please, Sam. Please.
We don't want Sam throwing it 30,
man.
40 times a game. That's how we end up with L's.
Bring some USU culture into the organization. I don't know what that means. You guys can say anything that comes to the top of your mind. I'll try to scrim through
Just
these.
to pick off of what Underground West said, I believe, right? 300 yards out of Sam Darnold, we do not want that.
No, we're
right?
going to lose.
We don't want him to be throwing 30, 40 times a game because, when he's in position to where he has to create for the offense, he gets a little nervous. You don't want him to be in that position. You want him to play within the offense, within the scheme, and that's what they've been doing the past couple of weeks. And it's cause for us to be on this win streak here.
Yeah.
Andre, they want you to pull up your mic.
Okay. Sorry.
Talk about the three-headed monster though that we have formed here with Foreman, Hubbard, and Blackshear. Listen, this is something that I've been screaming about for the longest on my show. Love Christian McCaffrey. I'm happy that he's over there doing his thing, getting some W's in San Francisco. But I've been screaming about getting more guys involved in the backfield. You had guys going off last week, and you need multiple guys to be able to run the football. You don't have to feed one player the football 38 times. Like, you have guys spread the football around. I love it. Keeps guys fresh. So let's continue to do that.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to play this clip. Coach Steve Wilkes earlier this week talking about the keys to the game. Let's go ahead and let him talk about on the defensive side what those keys are.
Defensively, they got it on every level. Hayward can take over the game at any point in time. Very dominant, all-pro player. When you look at Miles Jack on one side and then you look at Watt on the other side, very active in the things that they're doing for stopping the run, and then also, importantly, creating, getting pressure on the quarterback. And big fan of Fitzpatrick, phenomenal player. And the things that he can do on the back end, they move him around all over the place, plays with great eyes, great anticipation for us breaking on the football.
So there you have Steve Wilkes talking about the Steelers defense, and we were just talking about the Panthers offense. So you guys are saying, no, Sam Darnold, don't start throwing the ball 20, 30 times. Well, maybe 20, right? That's about where he's
fair.
getting to.
20's fair.
But otherwise, we want to continue to see Deontay and Chuber and even Blackshear get in there and doing something. Anything that you guys see that we need to do differently on offense that this week because of the matchup?
Not in particular. I think we have a situation now where we can dictate how the game is played. Right.
Yeah.
I think we with what we're doing up front, the protection, and the ability to run the football, you can actually dictate the game and just run the dang ball. That's what I listen. I'm up there in the stand screaming, please just run the football, shorten the down and distance, get first down, get close, get some yards. Therefore, you're not putting yourself in tough situations on third down where you're forced to throw the football. I mean, it would be great to see us stretch the football field a little bit more, but at the end of the day, I don't care. It's about W's. And if it comes on the ground, so be it. We got to run the ball 50 times. Let's do it. If it's working, go with it.
All right.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Keep doing it. Keep pounding the rock.
We're going to go to Wilkes here talking about the offense for the Pittsburgh Steelers and what their strengths are as well.
When you look at Rudolph as well as Trubisky, they both are more than capable of going out and executing and running this offense. I've had the pleasure of coaching against these guys on several occasions and gotten beat by them. When you look at their mindset and what they try to do offensively, just a lot of like ourselves. Going to establish the run game up front, try to move the pocket a little bit and be able to take their shots down the field. Pretty good receivers in Johnson and Pickens, and I think as you saw last week, Trubisky was able to get the ball deep and over the top at times.
So there you hear Coach Wilkes talking about the wide receivers of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he's just doing a little coach talk there.
Of course.
Giving those wide receivers over there in Pittsburgh some credit because they are pretty average guys. But he also talked about Well, not what he talked about, but I'm losing my thought here because I'm still so cold.
It's not that bad out here, guys.
It's not that.
You just came from Canada, so you can say that,
maybe,
right?
Maybe that's true.
But one thing that the Steelers offense does do is they allow a good amount of sacks, something that we have not piled up too many. So let's talk, either one of you guys just jump in here. Defensively, what do this Carolina Panthers team need to do today? And by the way, Steve Wilkes all week, as you know, they weren't sure what quarterback they were going to be facing. Right. He was quick to say, look, I've lost to both of these guys.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. Like they're capable guys, so it doesn't matter which guy's up there. But one of you guys want to jump in and talk about?
I think it's a continuation of what happened last week. You want to be able to force turnovers. I think that gives your offense more opportunities and more possessions. So I think early on, look for Carolina to try to get some pressure on I'm blanking Trubisky. Wow, I was blanked out on his name there. It just shows you what they're working with over there in Pittsburgh. But yeah, you got to be able to control the line of scrimmage, and that's something that they've been able to do over the past couple of weeks. Look for that to continue today. You just said it yourself, Chris. Their receiving core is pretty suspect, pretty average. Rather than George Pickens, I can't name another receiver.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad. That I can't name another option that Trubisky has to throw to today. You have to stop Najee Harris. That's really the main thing that you have to be focused on today. If you stop Najee Harris, that makes him one-dimensional, and you can you can attack. You don't have to react to what Pittsburgh is doing today. So look for them to get some pressure early and often, and to try to force some turnovers, because if you can do that, it puts you in a lot of good situations, especially with field position as well.
And Rashad's going to say it's not that cold. You don't know, my left leg is trembling. It's twitching as I go through it. And I'm doing a good. I am a cold nature. I love the cold, but I'm freezing. Shad, I'm going to throw this one at you, though. Somebody said if Sam wins out, does that change our quarterback drafting situation for next year?
Absolutely not. We should still be in the market to find our franchise quarterback. I love Sam as a backup. I think maybe I don't like the fact that I've heard the extension talks. I saw that rumor that we're trying to extend Sam Darnold in December. Yeah, no, like it's too early. If I was him,
Sam Darnold?
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've heard that.
Man, who leaked that?
I've heard that.
Somebody leaked that.
Maybe
story?
they leaked it, but I've heard
goodness.
it. I've seen it on the Twitters, and and I'm like, listen, we've got to wait. We've got to wait it out. I'm not. And for Sam's sake, I would be wanting to wait it out too, because he could increase his value from a win standpoint if I was him. But I digress. Listen, I don't think.
Shouldn't we let him become a free agent and then re-sign him instead of extend? Because extending means like continue to give him like this 20-something million.
Well, extending him would prevent him from hitting the market, right? They may want to keep him as a backup option, which is you want a veteran backup, right? Whether it's PJ or Sam, and Sam has done a good job. I think he's executed what they asked him to do. I'm not saying we should go out there and pay him $20 million a year. No, he should get backup money, and it should be it should be compensated as such. But I just don't think he should be extended right now. But what was your original question?
If he wins out, should that change our drafting?
Oh no. Yeah, we've got to find a
quarterback.
You got to find the franchise guy. Sam isn't it, although I think he'd be a decent backup option. You've got to find that franchise guy, because right now we're in a situation where we're winning. We're doing it through the ground. Yep. Just imagine if you have a quarterback that is somewhat of a threat, that can do some things that takes you to another level. And I think that's what we're missing. So we're winning. It's great. I think the quarterback, a franchise quarterback, whether it's Bryce Young or Stroud or Levis or Anthony Richardson, one of those guys. If it's one of those guys, it takes you to another level. And I just don't think we're there right now. So no, we should not. It shouldn't change what we're doing.
Very hard question, but what do you think we have in Matt Corral?
It's tough.
Very hard question.
It's
right?
tough. It's tough, and I feel bad for him because I called this on my show. I knew that Matt Rule will be fired at the end of this year, or sometime during the season. Dave called it during the season. I said at the end of the season.
I said it would happen before the end of the season.
Well, you and Dave are right there. You guys called it, and I knew it would put Matt Corral in this situation where he is going to be, in no man's land. Right. Whether if it's Wilkes didn't choose him. Yep. Right. He was on the staff, but Wilkes, that's a Matt Rule pick. So the guy that takes over this team, whether it's Wilkes, luckily he has a connection to Wilkes, and they've been talking. He kind of knows what he has. But typically, when you hire a new coach, that coach is going to get his quarterback that he's going to die on the hill with. I don't know if Wilkes is going to put his eggs in the corral basket. It's unfortunate for him. It sucks for him. I feel because I think he's talented. I really do. But at the end of the day, the coach is going to get his guy.
Hey, they call him Golden Corral for a reason. So, I mean, there's that. I mean, I don't know if the resume can back that up yet because he's been out for majority of his rookie year. But, I mean, at Ole Miss, I mean, he was able to do some good things. But, again, he's in that awkward position where he got hurt. And then with the changes in the coaching staff, who knows if they want to keep him around and move forward with him. And he wants to get his own guy. If they do decide to go in the draft with Steve Wilkes moving forward, he wants to get his own guy to be able to lead a team into the future.
And by the way, you're settling in pretty well now.
Yeah.
As we got into the show, you've settled in. I like it. You got the mic up. It's good stuff. A few comments that have come out there. I'm sorry I was slow getting to the comments. Normally, we're really quick on the comments and give shout outs. We're a little slow today. But a lot of people giving feedback to the three-headed monster up here, really liking the show, so we appreciate it. We will continue to do it. I know we've got at least one more home game that will be here. Rashad, will you continue to join us?
I'm back.
He'll continue
Christmas Eve, we're back.
Christmas Eve? Oh, it is Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve,
It's
man.
a Saturday game.
Yeah.
Man.
And we're a week away from Christmas.
We are a week away from Christmas. Hey,
Santa's here early, though. We're number 10.
Reminder.
Give away presents.
For me, because I think Mom may be watching. If you're not, Mom, happy birthday to you today, all right? To Mama Jenkins out there.
Happy birthday, Mama Vibe.
Today
Mama Jenkins.
is her
Mama Vibe.
birthday. Quick question, sack predictions for Burns, and do you think TJ Watt will make Sam break his nerve in the pocket, which is the reason that I have been a Sam hater, is because to me, once, all of our guys can mess up, PJ can mess up, but I feel like PJ bounces back from it quicker. I feel like Sam just goes, brrr. But let me repeat that question again. Toss up for either one of you guys. Is sack predictions for Brian Burns, and do you think that Watt will rattle Sam's nerves?
So for prediction for Burns, I think he's gonna have 1.5 sacks today.
Okay.
I think he will register a sack today. That offensive line is not very good. They do give up a lot of sacks. I forgot what the rankings were, but it's not good. Their offensive line is not very good. As far as TJ Watt getting to Sam, I certainly hope that does not happen, because if it does, I do think Sam can get off his block. Once he's off his block, like Chris just said, it's downhill from there. So we have to get Sam protected. Luckily, we do have the Great Wall of Carolina in front of him, and I think that's going to help him out. So hopefully Icky or whoever is going up against TJ can at least slow him down.
Now, if you were talking, I think, Rashad, you're talking about sacks allowed for the Steelers?
Yep.
They are currently 20th in the league with allowing 34 sacks. So they do a pretty fair job with that.
Yeah, so I mean, again, like I said, that's probably going to be one of the things that they're going to focus in on today, defensively speaking, is getting some pressure early on Mitch Trubisky. If they can get Brian Burns, Derek Brown, Yetur, Marquise involved in any way, shape, or form today, then, like you said, it could be the season of giving for Mitch Trubisky. He could be Santa. He could be in that building right now getting ready to get some sacks and then throw some interceptions today. So, with that offensive line in Pittsburgh, it's a little bit suspect. There's going to be some opportunities there to make some plays on the defensive end of the ball.
Rashad, they said they know your hands are cold.
Yeah, I keep switching.
Are you switching? You got to do that, man.
Switching hand warmers.
Not gonna lie, I'm starting to get a little cold myself too. I can't even feel my feet right now.
Uh-oh.
So as I go through this, talk of the town. Steve Wilkes is our interim head coach.
Yep.
And unless we get some more questions that come through, because we were poor at talking about the questions, that a lot of the comments are like inner conversation between people that are viewing. But by the way, thanks everybody for viewing. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button, okay? That's something free to do. It helps support the channel, helps other Panther fans find out about us. Hit the subscribe button as well. Continues to help us get players on the show and do the things that we do and continue to grow. Steve Wilkes, our interim head coach, 3 or 4, and gaining momentum as somebody who should be considered as a head coach for this team. Where do you guys stand as Steve Wilkes being the coach for this team? And I'll start with saying right now, I think today, I almost feel like I'm going to say this every week, though. I feel like today's a good indication. That game out in Seattle was pretty good. Got these guys to get their first road victory. Got these guys to get their first back-to-back games. And he started a new possible slogan here with
Yes.
Protect the Bank. You know, Keep Pounding was legendary with Sam Mills. And now I think a lot of people like Protect the Bank. And the way that he delivers and talks about it, I think that's something that he's probably talking about in front of these guys today in the locker room. And if you get a victory today, that gives you 3 in a row. That gives him the ability to protect the bank. That gives him the ability to beat a team that actually has been, as Rashad mentioned, one of their bigger tests. And just, hey, he talks about it. I'm a defensive guy. This is where I started. It is nothing more, I forget the word that he uses, but heartbreaking to be out there and they just, you know that they're going to run. They line up and they run and they just beat you down. And he just wants to have that established today. And if he wins today, it will probably be because he has those guys pounding the ball, whether they have 8 men in the box or not. So I'm not willing to say he should be yet. I really like his chances. I'll certainly be jumping on the bandwagon today, though, if he wins today.
Yeah, and it's soul-crushing, right? Whenever you're in a situation where you just cannot stop the opponent's run game. I mean, that's literally what Seattle was saying in their pressers, too, with all the players. It was so frustrating and it was so soul-crushing that they just could not stop the run. We were able to physically just take their soul away from the team. And regarding Steve Wilks, he's got to be the favorite right now. I mean, we're already 5 wins in. If we win today, that will be the highest win total we've had in like 3 years.
Yeah.
So that adds to the resume. You know, that win last week in Seattle was a pretty significant win. I think that's a statement win that he can add onto his resume. So he's got to be the favorite. We still need to see more. We're always going to be saying that every week. We still need to see more because, you know, this is the most important game up to this point, every week that we play. So, you know, he's really established an identity and, you know, that one game at a time approach that starts at the top. He's been adamant about it. Don't look ahead, focus on the here and now, and that's the tone that he has set throughout the whole team right now.
And Rashad, before you jump in, I'm going to read this comment from Shaki, one of our loyal followers. Unfortunately, guys, it's impossible to protect the house with the Panthers ticket office outrageously charging crazy high ticket prices, which kept myself, a diehard Panther fan, from going today, and a few people appreciated that comment. You can touch on that if you want, but if you want to just go ahead and talk about Wilks, that's fine.
Yeah, no, I think as far as Wilks goes, I think a lot of Panthers fans just want to give him the title or remove the title right now, the interim tag, and just give him the job. And I love Wilks. I think he's doing a fantastic job. But we have to complete the job, right? It's you can't just give him the position off of what he's done so far because it's not over. Right, he could come out and we could lose the next 4 games, and you guys would completely change your tune. So we have to see it through. I think he's done an excellent job, and we have this thing on our show called the Wilksometer. You might have seen it in the chat.
Okay.
Wilksometer, right? It goes from green to red, and right, we've been moving it up. He's been reaching the green, and I think right now he's at the top. You beat the Steelers. That's going to keep you at the top, but you still have 2 division games at the end of the season. You got to win, right? The job's not done. So I think he would tell you that himself. He's got to go out there and finish the job. If he gets us to the playoffs, no question. And I don't think he has to. I don't think he has to get us to the playoffs. But I think he has to finish strong, right? You have to play. And again, he's a Rivera disciple, right? He came from the Rivera tree. Rivera's teams played their best football in December. And that's what we're seeing right now from the Carolina Panthers. If he continues to do that, he should get the job, no question. I think he should be the top guy if he continues it.
Absolutely.
Hey, I missed the super chat that came through from Brandon. Brandon, appreciate the super chat. Thank you very much. Independent media is supported by your contribution, so anytime that you guys can do that, $1, whatever it is greatly appreciated. So thank you for that.
Shout out to Brandon there for doing that.
And I want to say we're not worrying about next week. We're going to take care of, not sure where that one came from. We're about at the end, so let me still try to scoot through some of these. And again, if any of you guys think of something that we haven't talked about that you want to touch on, feel free to.
Luckily, y'all are at home right now because I'm starting to feel it.
It's not that bad. Come on,
I'm
guys.
starting to feel it, man. We're like, 40 minutes in, and I'm really starting to feel it. I know Rashad, he keeps saying it's not that bad, but man, whew. This is some new territory right here because we've been pretty lucky throughout the season. We've had some pretty warm games. Even in that Atlanta game when we were covering it in the rain, it was still relatively warm. But these last 2 games that we'll be covering, it's going to be pretty nippy, I must say. We're feeling it right now.
Just
I know I am.
put your layers on if you come down.
Yes.
Layer up. You'll be all right.
Layer the heck up.
Yeah, good time to say our post-game show will be indoors today. We were talking about it walking up. Normally, we like to go out on the field. It's a pretty good look to go out on the field, but we will be indoors today. This is a funny one. My sources have confirmed that Sam Darnold's beard will be active today against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Bearded Darnold's different, man.
Yeah, he's keeping the no-shave November.
He's doing a good job.
Forward.
He's not different, man. He's just not being asked to do anything.
Clean-shaven Darnold was different, man. We don't want that guy back. We want bearded Darnold.
I need a chiropractor out here today. 2 Block gave us a super chat as well. Says keep pounding, protect the bank. Again, sorry for some of these chats that we've missed today. It's, he's going to get on me about saying it's cold, but we were a little slow with the cold weather out here today. Let's see.
Appreciate the super tag. Yeah. Protect the bank today, fellas.
See, there are Panthers fans here, man.
Yeah, they're out here. I think the defense will have 3 or more turnovers on Pittsburgh.
That will equal a W if that happens.
Yes. That is one of the keys to today's game. If they can force some turnovers, that will put us in very favorable position for today's game.
Hey, and I'm never afraid to share the love. So Antoine says Rashad the Don just gave the show some credibility on the street cred. So appreciate you coming through.
What does that mean?
He's saying that you doing good things for us, man.
Giving us some street cred, as they say, right?
I don't know if I'm the person to give out street cred, but I'll take it.
Oh, you talking about the street cred part?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where that came from. Anyway.
It's a positive thing, man. Yeah. Some people talking about my hat going. I don't have a hat. Chris, give me some thermals.
I still can't believe they didn't have any hats up there for you.
They didn't have any hats out there.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not going to be able to go through these comments because I got way too behind. Is there anything I want to talk about for the closing? Because we're at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'll give you a little look on the crowd. It still looks like a pretty good mixture of Pittsburgh Steelers out here. Lots of them to our right, actually an overwhelming amount to our right.
Oh, yeah.
But Rashad, thankfully, he can wear whatever he wants to wear, so I appreciate him wearing the Panthers jersey. So I'm just going to freely give you guys a chance to close out on anything that you want to talk about today. I know I'm going to say J.C. Horn. I like the guy. I felt like he's not been getting the mentions that he would get, but part of it is the fact that he's on a team that hasn't been worth talking about on a national level. So it's really hard to get a lot of compliments when your team isn't doing so well. So for a guy like JC, hopefully we'll get a victory today and he can continue to get some good mentions for him. But I'd like to see JC Horn continue to do well. Hopefully Laviska Shenault will run some more routes today as well. And congrats to the O-line that has been continuing to play well. I like what Steve Wilkes is building on the offensive side. I like that the defensive side just continues to find a way to do things. And even though we don't have a lot of top 10 rankings, they're of late playing really good, getting pressure on the quarterback and getting those turnovers where they need to keep the ball. And we're playing bully ball, if you will, with time of possession. That's something that would be great to build on. No matter what happens with this team, if you continue to build on that time of possession, I think it was 40 minutes last week to 20.
Wow.
So you continue to have that. And, we got a matchup against the Steelers today, which we have a pretty good chance of winning. We'll have the Detroit Lions, which will be a tough matchup, I think.
Be a tough game.
That'll be a tough matchup against Detroit. And a big test for Steve Wilkes will be he got his first road victory last week, but he ends the season with 2 road games in a row. So that'll be a very, very big challenge for him with the Tampa Bay Bucks and then the New Orleans Saints. But hopefully I didn't take too much from you guys.
I think you summed it up pretty
well.
But
anything you want to
I
say?
think, again, if we can force some turnovers today, I've been reiterating it a lot, but I think it's such an important thing that we need to watch today. If we can force some turnovers and give our offense more possessions and more opportunities to control the ball, I think it will be in our favor today. Of course, we've only beaten Pittsburgh once in our franchise's history. I wasn't even alive, okay, when they won their first game in this matchup back in 1996. Hopefully we can change the narrative today because they've had our number recently. So again, focus in on the line of scrimmage and turning the ball over today. I think those are going to be the 2 things that I'll be watching for today's matchup.
There's some comments in here saying, you know damn well what they mean about street cred, man.
I don't know what they're talking about.
I'm going to take it as this. We're media, And you come from, you know, the unofficial media, even though you're
I'll take that.
very good.
I don't want to be official media. Man.
Why not?
Too much responsibility.
Like
man.
what?
I like my street cred.
Fair enough.
I'm a rule breaker, man. Yeah, I don't like rules, so you know. I'll take the street cred.
we do get in trouble for breaking some rules.
I don't want to.
Or even getting close to the rules.
I don't want to. Yeah, I will tiptoe all across the rules. So just don't give me any credentials. So, but real quick, I did want to say about this game. It'll be interesting to see if we could start fast again, right? That start last week against the Seattle Seahawks was amazing. Like I don't think I've ever seen us start that fast before.
Fueled by the defense. That was a lot of fueled by the defense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We started fast, and then we took advantage of the turnovers. If we can repeat that and get on guys like early, like pause, I think that would be great. I think that it would be awesome. So I want to see us get that going. I want to see us, continue to continue to score on each possession.
Yeah.
Run the dang ball, right? Let's not get cute. Enough with the trick plays. Run the dang ball. All right, run the ball.
What do you think about Sam's athleticism? I think Wilkes talks about it. Somebody on here was talking about Sam running the ball.
Sam's got wheels.
He got wheels?
He's got wheels. He
can run wheels in Baker Mayfield, I must say.
I think he should.
Hey, he was the player of the week last week. He did good out there in LA.
Shout out to Baker, man.
Shout out to Baker.
Baker
No more quarterback drills, man. I won't ask you that question ever again.
Doing good, man. Keep it up in LA.
Shout out to Baker, shout out to CMC, man. But we're happy with what we got over here.
So we just going to ignore Robbie Anderson like that?
Yeah, shout out to Robbie. I like Robbie. Shout out to all the guys. Okay, let's do it this way. Shout out to all the guys who traded away. You guys we appreciate your contributions, but we're fine where we are. We're making this playoff push without you. We're good, okay? So let's
It wasn't you.
It wasn't you, it was us.
And it wasn't Wilkes, it was Coach Rule.
Exactly,
so
exactly.
There you go.
Hey, we're going to end it on that note. For Rashad, Andre Cassidy, I'm Chris Jenkins for Charlotte Vibe. Thank you so much for watching. I want to try to think of something new to do at the end of the video to thank the people that are watching. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to say hashtag I watched the whole show. Put that in the comments. Nice. We'll know that you watched the whole show. But we're going to join you post-game. After the show, do you go live? I think it's 50-50 if you go live.
Yeah, it depends, man. Sometimes I race back and we go live. It's all on how the game. If it's a great game, I'll go live. If not, just hit the notification bell. You never know what happens with PNP.
Hey, I think people said something like I'm just going to say an intoxicated Rashad.
Oh, yeah.
To catch.
Yeah, they've been talking about that. We had a guy come up to us like a couple weeks ago and say, man, whenever he's, on edge, he's a different man. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to see that.
Keep it fun, man.
So how do those that, want to see the intoxicated Rashad, when do they catch that show?
After the game.
After game.
Generally after the games, or during my live streams or during away games when I'm at home. Yeah, it gets fun.
Okay.
It gets fun. I guess that's where I got my street cred from.
Huh? That's it, man. Thank you. Oh, during the game, for updates, follow us on Twitter. Everything's at Charlotte Vibe.
Yes.
Andre's going to be man of the Twitter. So for injuries, when guys go into 10, things like that, we'll be able to keep you guys up to date for that. And then post-game, we'll go live. 30 minutes after the game, we'll be live. All right? I'm out. Chris Jenkins, Rashad, Andre.
Peace out.